In question one, we're asked about the term monopolistic competition. Part A, we're asked in which ways is it monopolistically competitive market like a monopoly? In what ways is it like competition? Well, the products in a monopolistic competition are similar enough to where any amount of firms can compete, and one person wouldn't be necessarily be on top. However, they are a little bit different, meaning that it's not going to they don't have necessarily have to sell their products at the same price. It's now based on their quality and how quality of their products and such. So obviously a firm could have a per se monopoly in that aspect where their product is better than the others. um, B, which outcome of monopolistic competitive markets is a direct result of its monopoly-like features? What outcome is a result of its competitive features? Well, competitive side, we have many sellers, so many firms, and free entries. So, one firm could enter a certain industry, and their price can be higher than the average cost. So then that attracts entry. Other firms start joining in, and they come in with products that are similar but different. So in the food industry, a Japanese restaurant can first take precedence in the city, and then other people can start coming in with their own Japanese restaurants, and so the they start getting zero profits. So also another outcome could be product differentiation, where the downward sloping demand curves rather than straight horizontal curve, because a straight horizontal curve only results when the products are exactly the same. They're forced to sell it at the same price. However, since the products are slightly different, they have the right to sell it at different prices, and the demand and the consumers wouldn't necessarily be so specific about it, but they would be looking at the quality rather than price at this point.
For question 2, we're looking at the long-run state of a monopolistically competitive market, and the image to the right is a graph from the textbook that supports these answers. So, the marginal cost is going to be less than average cost. In order for the firm to be making an economic profit, the cost of making one more good should be less than the average cost of the goods. Next, price should be equal to the average cost. In the long run, entries are going to keep occurring until the price that the firm can set is equal to average cost, where the average cost curve is tangential to the demand curve. Marginal revenue is equal to marginal cost. We know this needs to be true to maximize profits from previous chapters as well. Once the firm reaches the point where making one more product is more expensive than the marginal revenue it brings in, it's about at its peak efficiency. And finally, price is greater than marginal cost. This again makes intuitive sense. In order for a firm to make a profit, they have to be setting the price of the product higher than the marginal costs it takes to actually make the product.
In question 3, we're given monopolistically competitive industries and asked to describe how their market is monopolistic competition, and then talk about strategies that sellers would use to differentiate their products. New car dealerships represent monopolistic competition because different brands of cars are an easy way to differentiate products. And the car industry, the automotive industry, is dominated by a few large firms who have managed to build themselves up through economies of scale and differentiate their products in other ways, like advertising, speed, how good the car looks, eco-friendliness, other things that appeal to consumers besides price. Real estate agents do kind of the same thing when they're selling houses. They want to differentiate their product from other houses in ways besides price. Qualitative aspects like location, size, age, the stuff it has. Houses could have pools, and also the way they advertise themselves on TV, as opposed to advertisements for other neighborhoods. Landscapers want to make themselves appear to have a certain skills and advantages that other landscapers won't. So their industry is monopolistically competitive in that They can differentiate the hours they're willing to work, the type of equipment they have, how they advertise their firm on local television, etc. They could, for example, they could work different jobs like hedging or creating rock gardens, and advertise the fact that they do things other landscapers won't do, and in some cases that they do them better.
So for question 4, we're asking whether chain restaurants specifically changing up their menus is because they are seeking for a perfect menu. And here we said no, and our reason is threefold. So the first one is product differentiation. We know that this is a key component of monopolistic competition, and we know that customers have to be able to make choices based on their preferences and priorities. So as soon as a new menu item comes out from one chain restaurant, all the other restaurants as well as customers will see it, and so competitors may try to change their menus as well. Since there is also no significant barrier of entrance in this industry, chain restaurants must keep up and stay unique so that they can profit and benefit from product differentiation. The second point is advertising and customer loyalty. So after switching up the things on the menu, they will be able to inform their customers and advertise more to keep their customer group. And the third point is different seasons. We know that chain restaurants change items to fit the tastes, needs, and wants of customers. For example, people crave pumpkin spice products in fall, so it makes sense for chain restaurant to change that up according to the time of year.